Today was one of the first times I ever had an issue. I got a copyright claim on our podcast.
For what?
For the open music.
But it didn't claim. It did not.
It hadn't.
It did 1 and 2.
No, we didn't get the claim for 1 and 2. The claim came all of a sudden for number 3, and then I had to go research which song because the cold open music didn't get hit yet, just the open music. So then I had to go back to, which is one thing that Soundstripe is good at, is they submit you a code to show that you have copyright claim
so you have
to the
proper
music.
use to the music.
So I just went and I disputed the claim and gave them the code and said that, I pay for it for this. And it was funny because it was Soundstripe that was taking the copyright claim on us. So I just said, hey, we're using your service. We pay for it. I'm a customer. Here's my name.
Funny.
For me, I'm more of like the front end of it.
I'm just making it up. Of a similar nature or character.
JMKast. JMKast.
But we get shocked often by Chris.
If you Google my name, it always pulls up Ric Flair and Blackjack Mulligan. That's another story for another time, though.
Hey, it's the JMKast. This is Greg T. Johnson.
Rick Mulligan here.
And, hey, we got someone else on the phone today. Another piece of JMK. Welcome, Chris Palmer. Say hey Chris.
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right, we're doing great.
All right, he's on the show. We can't talk any more crap about him. We got to be nice.
No, he's not muted anymore. Wait, was he muted or were we?
Oh crap!
Muted?
I think.
Oh shoot! He heard everything.
Sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to say that.
We didn't. We apologize. So Chris is our South Texas guy and
creative genius.
Yeah. And as we like to do at the beginning of every show, please like, subscribe, comment to our YouTube page and our podcast.
Definitely share with your friends.
Yeah, give us any suggestions of things you want us to talk about video production or whatever. And share away and just enjoy. We're going to keep doing it. And we're going to try to talk about what we do and talk about just the business as far as our business. But we're also going to talk about video production, so you can get like key concepts and things you might not know about,
key terms that get maybe get used.
That what you do. I was telling Rick earlier, Chris. We were debating. What's a good audio mix?
We were debating. I don't know if we were debating this. You were telling me, and I was definitely agreeing.
Well, I was saying the music should be very powerful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it should blow everything out. You shouldn't hear anything the person says.
You should be deaf. Is that right, Chris?
I guess depending on the video you're doing, maybe you want.
It's not a music video. It's a corporate video, so you want the music to be dominant, right?
I would say no.
No.
Ton of sarcasm in Craig's voice.
Whoa! What are you saying here?
You ride the levels, have it dance.
Oh,
the beginning part, you may have the music up front, your introduction, and then it kind of fades a little bit into the background. You have your subject or whatever voiceover person talking about whatever they're talking about, and just have the music beneath it to where you can still hear it, but it's not the main focus.
Oh, okay.
It's the glue that holds the piece together.
So I've been doing it wrong.
Yeah, for a long time.
Dang.
I don't know how you managed to get 40-some Emmys doing it wrong.
I know. I got lucky.
Well,
that's all we say. I got lucky.
It was funny because Greg actually showed me a technique editing yesterday. So made a suggestion on something I did. I had done some natural sound effects that were bang, 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 very quick. And he gave me a little technique and told me how to try something. And it's way too complicated to explain. But in doing it, I really liked the smoothness is the best way to describe it. It made those hard pops just a little softer and a little cleaner, and it came out really cool.
To the easy version of it is this is what was happening. So on video editing, we have what is called the timeline, and that's kind of like your sheet of paper if you're writing a story. Mm-hmm. And on the timeline, he had the words basically butted up against each other without spaces.
Yeah, the sounds.
So, but like on your piece of paper, like say if you said the rock was here, the rock was here would be like no
Squished
space,
together, no
squished
space,
together, no
yeah.
space, and that's what he had basically done.
Yeah.
And what I told him to do is put the space in by just changing the different channels in which each sound was on.
So like sound effect
and
1
then
was
you
on
yeah.
channel 1, sound effect 2 was on channel 2, and then sound effect 3 went back to channel 1. So it had like
Or it could have gone to channel 3.
However,
it really
like
didn't
a
matter.
little stair effect, and then just did a nice little transition in it. And it's definitely the way I'm going to do that from now on.
Yeah.
It's funny because Joe Blow at home doesn't hear it.
Yeah,
But
no,
we totally hear it.
yeah, we hear it, and it's just a more effective way to give yourself and you know, it's all about how you hear it.
Absolutely.
And to me, I've always said a good edit could run on radio.
Oh, for sure. You hear it. Like, well, we've all discussed this. The audio is the most important part of a video story. Because if your audio is bad, no one's going to watch your story. It's just, you could shoot the most beautiful thing in the world.
What? You don't like this when I'm yelling and screaming?
No, I definitely don't like it when I have headphones on. But I mean, it's like if the audio's bad, no one's going to watch it. So,
Chris, what about you in audio?
Yeah, what about you?
I think over the years, I've had to put more attention to audio because I guess maybe me, I'm more of a visual person and I'm focusing on the dissolve or the shot. Is it, the right angle that I like or whatever. And I had over time have to focus more on audio because it is a huge part of it. I think it's right up with video. They need to mesh, like a marriage, and they both need to work off of each other and help each other make the piece whole.
You and I are the same way. I was very much more a visual person and had to learn, the audio is extremely important. It's definitely been my biggest learning tool there. Here's something that Greg and I talked about this kind of when we were doing a little show prep, and I loved the question he asked me ahead of time, and I'm so curious for all three of us. Our processes, and I think our processes for editing is the same because we've all edited projects for the company. Chris, I'm kind of curious when we hand something to you, what kind of goes through your head, and what's your process to start putting that story together? Like what are you thinking? What questions are you asking, or are you just sitting down and going?
Inquiring minds want to know because we've seen your work.
Well, when either you or Rick tell me what the project is, I automatically start thinking of how I may want to piece it together based on what you're telling me the project's about. But then once I get the footage and I look, okay, well, this is what I have to work with, it kind of changes a little bit based on from my initial thought process. And then I'm like, okay, well, I think of an opening. Okay, what music is going to make me feel or have the viewer feel what this story is about. So maybe I listen to some sound bites, maybe I look at the script and see what story they're telling, and then I go through and pick out my music.
Like a video that you just created recently, the whole light bulb situation. Like what made you go there? I'm just curious.
Honestly, just because it's having to do with an energy company, and I thought, well, what can we incorporate? And not in a way to make fun of, but just in a way to, because it's an energy company, electricity. So I'm thinking, okay, well, how can I be creative? So I go to, the places where we get our footage from and just looked up electricity or power lines or whatever, just stuff that I may or may not want to use, in the video, depending how it's going as I'm editing. Some stuff I picked out, and as I'm editing, I'm like, this is not going to work, and I just throw it out to the side, and other stuff I use. So the stuff I was finding, it starts forming in my head. Okay, well, I want to have these light bulbs pop up, and I found some sound bites of the CEO, and it just, I don't know, it's not something that's already formed in my head. I may have little tidbits, but as I find different footages and graphics and what you all supply me, it starts forming as I'm putting it all together.
My favorite thing is when music's provided for us. I hate picking music.
Well,
music.
I like picking music, but the thing is, it's probably like 7 out of 10 times.
I hate music.
They end up like the person listening doesn't end up liking your choice.
I do not. I
Chris has
almost-
been very lucky that way.
Chris-
Lately, anything he picks, they tend to like his music.
Blind
but-
squirrel finding big nuts, because that just does never happen for me.
Because I'll do it one time and they love it, and then I'll do it the very next time with the exact same client, and
And
they'll basically tell me I totally missed the boat.
Yeah,
and it's tough.
Yeah,
I love picking out music because I don't know. If it's something that speaks to me and like, this is it, and I love this piece of music. And there's early on when I started, working with JMK, Greg or Rick, y'all would supply me the music, and I didn't really say anything, but I wanted to pick my own music. And so, I used what y'all gave me, and then
quite often that's been provided to us though. When we're giving it to you, it's
yeah.
because that's what the client wants.
Well, I think sometimes in the beginning I was picking it because I was picking it off of Soundstripe myself.
I definitely,
Right.
that has
service.
never been me.
Because he did some of the initial, I think, Toyotas for us, and I would send him a
I had nothing to
Soundstripe.
do
But
with
I would
those,
give him.
yeah.
I feel like I gave you choices though, didn't I?
Oh yeah, you did. And I know it's fine. I didn't, complain about it. Just me and my process, just going through and picking the music and hearing that and like already like, boom, this is it. That was missing. So
Right.
later on, y'all gave me access to Soundstripe, and I was able to. But yeah, like you said, I've been lucky. That's been one thing they haven't wanted to change. They've wanted to change a lot of other stuff, but the music's been okay so far.
And for anyone wanting to use music, a good or find a good subscription service for music, soundstripe.com it's a great service.
And
it
then,
has
and then
so
we're not
much
even-
choice.
They're not even paying us for that. Like they're just
No,
that good.
we and the only reason we use them is because one of our clients used them, and we wanted to be able
Compliant with
to
them,
be compliant with what our client used, and
so good.
and it's been really good for us. But today was one of the first times I ever had an issue. I got a copyright claim on our podcast
For what?
for the open music.
But it didn't claim. It did not.
It
It
hadn't
didn't 1 and 2.
No, we didn't get the claim for 1 and 2. The claim came all of a sudden for number 3, and then I had to go research which song, because the cold open music didn't get hit yet, just the open music. So then I had to go back to, which is one thing that Soundstripe is good at, is they submit you a code to show that you have copyright claim
Yeah, so you have
to the
proper
music.
use to the music.
So I just went and I disputed the claim and gave them the code and said that, I pay for it for this. And it was funny because it was Soundstripe that was taking the copyright claim on us. So I just said, hey, we're using your service. We pay for it. I'm a customer. Here's my name.
Funny. I bet that, because I think, well, I know when you put on YouTube, there's a place that you can put that in ahead of time.
I haven't found it yet.
Oh, sorry.
Please,
I know where it is.
please, because
It's
I'm
on the
like,
third page.
I would love to just have it in there and not
it's on the
even
third page.
worry about it. And
Although it doesn't always come up, it sometimes only comes up once you've been violated. So it can be a little tricky.
okay.
So it's not always. It's
Which
always
page is it on?
Should be on the third page. So like
Well, see, there's one that says it's checking for the copyright, but there's no, like, on when I get there, it doesn't have
means-
any place you can go
It means
into.
the algorithm hasn't hit it in the search. I guarantee that's what it means.
So
because I've seen it.
Maybe it'll hit us. Maybe I'll see it going forward
You
now,
might,
so I can
yeah.
start putting in the codes.
Yeah, maybe.
How about you, Chris? You ever ran into that other than us talking about it?
I'm trying to think. I
He's
don't think
provided me with codes.
Yeah. No, I know, but I'm just curious if he's ever posted stuff that's ever been.
not that I can remember. I think YouTube's gotten a lot more, I guess, strict with their copyright things. Years ago,
Yeah.
I had my own small video production company years ago, and I'd pick music myself, and I never got copyright. But it seems like now they're more stringent, and they'll flag you for the smallest thing.
Oh yeah.
They hit me once for one of my movie reviews like 10 years ago, and it was just me talking. I didn't no music, no nothing. It was just me talking.
You said a trademarked movie title.
I must have said something that they didn't like. It was funny.
Wow.
Interesting.
It got reversed. I didn't even do anything, and it got reversed. It was pretty funny.
So, Chris, tell us a little bit about who you are, your background, and all. Tell us the story of Chris Palmer when it comes to your connection with JMK.
Okay, and please stop me, jump in and stop me if I. Usually I'm
Stop, please
Stop!
stop.
Oh, too long.
Too much.
All right, new topic.
Yeah, usually I'm quick and to the point and not long-winded, so just stop me if I'm going too long.
Oh,
But,
you'll be fine.
You're
But
fine, man.
yeah, tell us the story about Chris Palmer and your connection to us and whatnot.
Born and raised in San Antonio. Since I was 8 years old, I had a camera in my hand, a little still camera, and I'd go to my dad with, weddings. He would do photography, weddings, photography on the weekends, and I'd go do that. And, when I was 8 or 9 years old, I'm like, you know what, I want to be a meteorologist. And I'd watch the Weather Channel all the time and
I do
wanted
remember
to,
this.
I'd want to work on, work in the news and be a meteorologist. And, later on, I got to realize how much math was involved with meteorology. And I'm like, forget this. I'll just get into news, maybe a news anchor, reporter. And so, I'm a
Oh, that's
kid,
funny.
10, 11 years old, and I would have
Science.
my own newscast, and my mom would get her camcorder and record me. I would do the weather. I'd force my brother to do the news, and we just kind of make up stuff and have our own little newscast. And so, right out of high school, I was just a few months out of high school. I saw they needed someone on the production crew at KABB TV, and I applied. I got an interview, and the guy over there, he asked me questions about lighting and stuff, and I didn't know. I'm just out of high school, and I didn't have a light kit or anything when I do my little videos at home. And so he suggested, go to San Antonio College. They've got a good TV production program there. And then maybe, who knows, down the line. So I'm in this class. I transferred from UTSA to San Antonio College, and 2 or 3 months into the semester, I meet a guy that was working at KBB on the production crew. He's like, "Hey, we need some people. Why don't you go apply?" I'm like, "I was just there like 6 months ago." He's like, "Just go. You're learning stuff already. Tell them what you're learning." And so I went back, and he remembered me because I told him at that first interview. I said, "I'll be back because this is what I want to do." And so during that second interview, he reminded me. He's like, "I remember you because you said you'd be back." And so he asked me questions about lighting and other things about production, and they hired me. So
Do you remember who that was?
I see Chris just going,
it
ugly
was
bug.
David David Osmo.
Okay,
What
yeah.
an
I
awesome
think he was
name.
the director. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, unique name, and the director of operations. He's still there today, and we were chatting on Facebook a few weeks ago. Just I thanked him, giving me that opportunity, and he's like, yeah, he's
Hey,
like,
you're
I
gonna have
saw
to
him.
share this podcast so he can
Yeah,
hear your
no
He
story.
can
kidding.
hear it, right? And so, I'm working in production, but I knew I wanted to be in news. So after hours, my days off, whatever, I'd come in and just start practicing editing tape to tape. I had no idea what I was doing and all these gadgets on the board, and just trying to figure things out, take a camera out and go shoot. And just I wanted to learn everything about the business. So I think it was like 9, 10 months later, there was an opening for an editor, and I made the switch over to news. And but I always wanted to do more. Whatever I was doing, I wanted to learn more. So once I got the hang of editing and shooting, I wanted to be, even though they didn't really have those at the time, I wanted to be like a one-man band video journalist. Occasionally, they let me go out and report on stories, but back then, they it wasn't like it is now, where at least in my opinion, these stations want to just save money and hire these people cheap and have them do the whole, one-man band thing. And so and I didn't want to go to a smaller market at that time to pursue a reporting, career, because I was from San Antonio. I, I guess in a way I was scared to leave San Antonio. So I just stayed behind the scenes for the most part, editing and shooting. And, I enjoyed editing because it was just a way for me to have a creative outlet. And I would, at least in my opinion, I try to do more for these packages that the photographers couldn't stay and edit the package, so it would get handed down to me. And then the reporters all like, "Oh man, we love what you did." So then it got to the point where the reporters didn't want their photog to edit it. They wanted me to do it, I guess, just because I just tried to give it a little more effort than just you're just throwing it together and handing it in. I wanted to
I
do
remember
something
this
unique.
story differently, Chris.
What's different?
I remember the story differently. I remember them wanting me to edit the package.
I'm sure they. I
Chris
mean, I'm
going, just
sure
give it to
they
me. I'll
had
do it.
you. I'm.
You haven't
I'm sure they
you
had
haven't
you
even
as
brought
well.
me into this story. We just flew on right by, Greg.
Well, but I really enjoyed, when Greg came along, because I think I only started just a little bit before he did. And
Did you even learn anything when I was there? I don't remember. I don't remember our interaction. Pretty much in the beginning, I saw you more as a peer versus someone that needed to learn stuff? Maybe in the very, very beginning. I can't recall.
What I remember is I liked how, at least for me, it was you inspired me because I don't know. I just felt like
That's
maybe
gonna
it's
go to
just
his head. Don't say that.
Well, I was just gonna say maybe it's just potential that I saw in Greg that he was gonna do great things. I mean, that's just I don't know. So he kind of inspired me to want to be good. So not that it was a competition, but I wanted to. I don't know. It's hard to explain. So
I
it
mean, you
was
have to
sad for
admit,
me.
some of my stuff back then was kind of out there.
It was different, and I think maybe it was just that I was trying to put my own creative touches on stories that I did. I guess maybe I saw more initiative from you than I did from some of the other photographers that had been there for
But
a
I
very
wasn't a
long time.
photographer, Chris.
Well,
I was an
but
editor.
I know, but when you were editing, it just I guess I saw more creativity coming from you than when the photographers were editing their packages. At least that's what I saw. So for me, when you left, it was disappointing because I felt that, someone that truly cared about creativity and turning out a nice, package was gone. And not that they were bad guys, these other photographers, they were great. It's just, I didn't see that effort from them. And maybe it's because they had been doing it a long time. They were just,
The gang
and you
is
were more,
back.
you were more fresh into it. And
The gang
I don't
is
know.
back. Chris and Greg, the gang is back.
Oh, that's
Yes.
terrible. I guess I should just take off. You guys can finish this out.
No. But
Just teasing.
no, I mean, I don't even remember how I approached you, Chris, and I don't know how I approached you
Yeah, I don't
regarding to Rick. I feel
I
like
think you
I
just told
told,
me I know a guy. You
yeah,
said,
I feel like I told Rick
we needed help.
I
And you
know
knew
a guy,
Yeah, that was it. Like literally, that was
but
it.
I have no idea how I got you back involved with us.
Well,
You
I think
remember?
it was originally we were talking because I think you needed some video footage shot for some story you were working on,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then and then it's during the pandemic, and it's like I think you kind of realized like, hey, everything can be done electronically. We can just send you footage and you can edit it, and you were like, why didn't I think of this before, and I think that's how we kind of got
And we were
on
getting
that track.
busy at the time.
We were hammered with
yeah,
edit
we were,
projects.
We were
We
really
had like
getting, and I
5
was
or 6
like,
projects,
oh,
and we just
so
couldn't
what do you
go.
think about? And so I probably just said to you, Chris, well, what do you think about this? And you were like,
I was
but
like,
you had a
yes.
computer that like barely hanging on,
Right.
but you weren't
Fairly certain
you
to use the
weren't
dial-up modem.
you weren't offering just how bad it was.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain to use the dial-up modem.
It's like, yeah, it'll take 3 hours to edit, to render it out, but
That I
yeah,
couldn't. That drove me nuts. When you'd be like, "Oh, it's going to take 2 hours," I'm like, "Why? It should take 10 minutes."
Well,
And then you're like, "Well, my computer was made by the Flintstones.
I'm using a VIC 20,
yeah.
I'm using an Apple One.
Commodore 64.
Doesn't even have a video card in it."
Oh my god.
I'm still putting code in.
You're like, "Hang on, let
And
me
I
log
don't-
in on my dot matrix modem."
And I remember that conversation, Greg, and I mean, I'm
I'm not
to
gonna
embarrass you or
lie.
anything.
When he came to me with the idea of helping you with the computer, I was not like originally on board.
Yeah, he was
I
kind of.
was
He was
very
I
opposed.
had to sell him on it, Chris. I
And
definitely.
Yeah.
no offense to Chris, I didn't know him at the time, and
Right.
what my big
You
concern
didn't know
was
you didn't know the capability.
that wasn't what I was worried about. And this is no knock on Chris. I didn't know him. My worry was we were going to buy him a computer, and we were never going to hear from him again. But I didn't know him, so it just.
Right.
I mean, did I think that was going to happen? Of course not. Was I worried about it? Of course. That's just because that's how my brain works.
But did we just handwrite? Did we just outright give you a computer, Chris?
Oh no, like, I had to work for it, a little bit. We agreed on a percentage that would be going back out of my pay back to paying off the computer.
Oh, yeah. Once you laid that out, I was a little more like, all right, he's gonna work for me. But I was still afraid he was just. But again, it's not a knock on Chris. It's having been burned in the past by people doing
Right.
garbage to me, that I was like, I'm trusting Greg on that. And I honestly think at one point I looked at Greg and I'm like, if he burns this, it's coming out of your butt. Like, I'm not gonna take a pay hit if it burns us. And he was like, okay.
Just so you know, and I don't remember what the initial how much he owed total was, but it's been a lot of projects to get
It's
there.
paid off, isn't it?
But it could have been. It's less. I want to say it's less than $100, but I've just been kind of nice and not messing with it lately.
Yeah.
That's all good.
But
He works so damn
but
hard.
we
I don't
gave
mind.
him we did give you a good portion of the computer. We outright did give you
Yeah.
for the
We did.
price, considering. But
Oh right, yeah.
because I mean, we felt that was we were helping you out to get it, and then how are those exports now, Chris? Or
Yeah, and
renders?
I was just gonna say, like, that first edit I did with the computer, I was like, oh my god, it's gonna take 2 minutes to edit a 10-minute or to render and edit a
I will say
10-minute
his edit
package.
time has gotten substantially faster.
It was like night and day, and just like, yeah, and especially like if you or the company, the client needed some changes, it's like, oh man, I'm thinking to myself, great, it's 8 minutes long, I'm gonna have to re-render, it's gonna take another 3 hours.
Yeah,
And
that's-
now it's like
yeah.
10 minutes, boom, okay, here you go, it's back, you got your changes.
And that helps the client too, because we don't have to then charge them that amount of time. Because unfortunately, we have to charge that time if the computer's used.
Yeah. Anyway, we really didn't get into like all your background, Chris, but we got into kind of the beginning.
Yeah, but Chris will be back. We'll have him back.
Chris? Oh, this is the one episode.
Oh, that's it. One done. All right, never mind.
He gave us a one episode deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because y'all
it's
can
not
go
the
back to talking bad about me now, right?
Yeah.
You don't know that I do that. Trust me, if I want to talk bad about you, I'll just call you.
He'll say it to your
I'll just talk
to your ear.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So I mean, this is when we do this fun part. This is the part Rick loves. He loves it.
Yeah.
Oh, we have 15 seconds now, so we're on our way out. And hey, all that listen to this story about Chris and Rick and Greg T. Johnson.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Like, subscribe, and comment.
Sure.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye, Chris.